Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Surya. Today's lesson focuses on two tenses that often confuse English learners. If you have ever felt stuck choosing between I did it and I have done it, you're not alone. This is one of the most common problems for many English learners. You study the rules, but in real conversations, it's still confusing to know which one is right. Well, we are going to move past that confusion today, and I'll show you a clear, simple system that really works. Both tenses talk about actions that happen before now. But there's one key idea that helps you decide which one to use every time. In this lesson, I'll show you the key difference between the present perfect and the simple past. Let's get started. Let's look at the present perfect tense. The present perfect is used to talk about actions or experiences that took place sometime before now, at an unspecified time in the past. The focus is not on when the action happened. What matters is the connection between the past and the present moment. The structure is simple: have or has plus the past participle. For example, I have done, she has seen, they have finished. Now, let's see how we can use this tense. Now let's look at the main uses of the present perfect tense. First, we use it to talk about actions that began in the past and continue now. For example, I have lived in Japan for 10 years. This means I started living in Japan in the past and I still live there now. The focus is on the connection between the past and the present. Second, we use it for recently completed actions. For example, she had just finished her homework. The action happened a short time ago, and the result is still true. Her homework is done. And third, we use the present perfect for life experiences without saying when they happened. For example, they have visited Dubai twice. Here, we are not talking about when they visited. We only mean that it has happened at some time before now. We also use it to ask about these experiences, like, have you ever visited Dubai? Again, we are not asking when, just if it has ever happened. We often use time expressions like ever, never, just, already, yet, recently, so far, this week, or today. So remember that the present perfect connects the past to now. There's always a link between what happened and the present moment. Now let's look at two very common words used with the present perfect: since and for. We use since to show the starting point of an action, when it began. For example, I have lived in Spain since 2018, or she has worked here since January. Here, since 2018 and since January tell us exactly when the action started. We use for to show the duration of the action, how long it has continued. For example, I have lived in Spain for 7 years, or she has worked here for 3 months. For 7 years and for 3 months show the length of time. So remember this simple rule: use since for the starting point and use for the period of time. You can see that the action began in the past and is still true now. That's why we use the present perfect. Now let's look at the simple past. We use the simple past to describe actions or events that started and finished completely in the past. There is no connection to the present. The structure is the verb in its past form. For regular verbs, we add ed, and for irregular verbs, we use their special forms like went, saw, or ate. Let's see how we can use this tense. Now let's explore the three main ways we can use the simple past tense. First, we use it for general completed actions in the past. The focus is purely on a single action that is fully finished. The specific time it happened is either unknown or simply not the main point of the sentence. For example, I visited Japan, or she finished her work. The key here is that the action is 100% over. This is the most common and general use of the tense. Second, we use the simple past to describe a series of past actions. This use is common when we tell stories or describe events step by step, showing how one thing followed another. For example, she finished her homework, watched a movie, and went to bed. Notice how we list the actions in order. This use helps us describe a series of completed steps or events chronologically. Each action happened one after another in order. And third, we use the simple past to mention specific times in the past. Here, the focus is on when the action happened. We use it with words that point directly to a finished time. For example, they watched a movie last night, or she was born in 1995. In these cases, the time expression like last night or in 1995 is essential because it tells us exactly when the action happened. We can also use other time expressions like yesterday, last week, an hour ago, and when I was a child. This use is all about pinning the action to a specific point or period in the past. So to recap, whether it's a general past action, a sequence of events, or an action at a specific time, the common thread is that they're all completed in the past. Let's look at the key difference between the present perfect and the simple past by comparing them directly. First, for an action that started in the past and continues to the present. Take the sentence, he has worked here since 2020. This means he started in 2020 and still works here now. His employment continues in the present. But when we say he worked here for 4 years, it tells us his time working here is completely finished. He doesn't work here anymore. Now, let's look at this example. I've lost my keys. The focus is on the present result. I don't have them now. We are giving general information about something that happened at any time before now. The action of losing them is recent and relevant. We don't say when it happened because the exact time isn't important. But when we say, I lost my keys yesterday, the focus moves to when the action happened. At that point, we can't use the present perfect anymore because yesterday is a finished time. So we use the simple past. The key difference here is present result versus finished time. And third, for talking about life experiences without a specific time, consider she has traveled a lot. This gives general information about her life experience up to this moment. There is no specific time mentioned. However, when we say she traveled to Paris last year, we are specifying a completed event. Last year is finished, so we use the simple past. This is the difference between a general life experience and a specific past event. Now, let's summarize what we have learned. The present perfect connects the past with the present, while the simple past refers only to the past. In the present perfect, we don't mention a specific time. But in the simple past, the time is clear. The present perfect focuses on the result or connection to now, while the simple past focuses on the finished action itself. Finally, the present perfect is used for unfinished time periods, like this week or today, while the simple past is used for finished time periods, like yesterday or last year. Now let's look at the timeline. In the present perfect, the action connects the past to the present. It still matters now. In the simple past, the action happened and ended in the past. It's finished and no longer connected to now. So remember the simple rule. If the time is unfinished or not mentioned, use the present perfect. If the time is finished or clear, use the simple past. Now let's check your understanding. You can see 5 sentences on the screen. Each one has a missing verb. Your job is to decide whether it should be in the present perfect or the simple past. Take a moment to think about each one. You can pause the video if you need more time. Are you ready? Let's check the answers together. For sentence 1, we are talking about something that has happened before, but we are not saying when it happened. The exact time doesn't matter. We are focusing on the experience. So the answer is, I have read that book twice. We use the present perfect here because it's about life experience, something that has happened more than once but at no specific time. In sentence 2, we clearly mention last weekend, which is a finished time in the past. That means the action is completely over and has no link to the present. So we can write it as, we went to the new restaurant last weekend. We use the simple past because the time is finished. Sentence 3 has the word recently. It shows that the action happened a short time ago and is still true now. He's working in the job. So the answer is, he has started his new job recently. We use the present perfect because the action is recent and the result continues in the present. In sentence 4, the word already tells us the action is completed, but the result is still relevant now. So the answer is, they have already finished their lunch. We use the present perfect here because the action had just been completed and its effect is still true now. They are not hungry anymore. And in sentence 5, 2 years ago is a finished time. It clearly tells us when the action happened. I bought this phone 2 years ago. We use the simple past because the time and the action are both finished. Excellent work. Now, remember this simple rule. If the time is unfinished or not mentioned, use the present perfect. If the time is finished or clear, use the simple past. That's the end of this lesson. You have just learned the key difference between the present perfect and the simple past, and how their meanings change depending on whether the time is finished or still connected to now. You have also seen how to use since and for with the present perfect to show time relationships clearly. If you found this video helpful, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more lessons. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.